Thank you everyone for having me here tonight. I'm going to share a few of the hauntings that are local, as well as some history and some folklore for context. Who am I? My name is Brandy Williams. I am an author, a historian, a folklorist. I am the author of Phantom Vibrations, The History of Ghost Hunting, Trails of Blood, Legends of the Vampire, Shadows of the Heart, Cunning Folk, and I can't read it. It's about the cunning folks during the witch trials in England, as well as a children's fantasy series about Bee. And I run the Traditional Legends blog and YouTube channel with my lovely assistant, John. He's also my husband. Okay, why does folklore matter? I'm sorry, I have to read, as I said, Spoiled Cats. Made everything go out of my head. So what really drew me to folklore, it's how everything is connected. Around the world, all cultures, all times, you hear ghost stories. It connects us to each other, and it connects us to the past. People all over the world have been trying to understand life, death, and the afterlife. But while we may think some superstitions are silly, we still practice our own rituals. We wake up in the morning and we brew a magical potion made of beans. It wakes us up. It gives us energy. Makes some of us a little bit happier. But we call it coffee. Then, what happens? We see a penny. We pick it up. And what do we say? See a penny, pick it up, and all day long you'll have good luck. We all do it. It still resonates within us. The oldest ghost story. This is actually one of my favorites, and it dates back to the 1st century. Pliny the Younger wrote about it, but by the time he wrote about it, it was already old. So the story goes, there was a wealthy man who came to Rome, and he was looking for a house to rent. But everyone in town said, there's only one house available. You don't want that house. He says, I want the house. No, it's haunted. You don't want the house. He wouldn't listen. He rented the house. That night, as he's sitting in his chamber writing, he hears chains rattling, and it's getting closer and closer until it's in his chamber. He turns around and he sees an apparition in rags, wrapped in chains, moaning and beckoning to him. This man, what does he do? He goes, just a second, and continues what he's doing. He finishes writing. He looks at the apparition, and he follows him. The apparition goes into the courtyard and disappears. So the following morning, the gentleman hires some in. They come in, they dig up the courtyard, and what do they find? A skeleton wrapped in chains. He gave the man a proper burial, and the haunting stopped. This story has been told since the 1st century. Why? We can still see it happening today. I mean, come on, it was in A Christmas Carol. He showed up with chains and it still resonates with us today. Folklore around the globe. As I said, it's something that draws us all together. In Mexico, you have Day of the Dead. In Japan, you have the Obon Festival. Typically, it happens during the summer, but it's just the same as Halloween. They tell ghost stories. They have haunted houses. it is something that resonates with us all to this day. But I am not here to talk about ancient stories or global. We have plenty of hauntings here in Romney. And we're going to start someplace close to home, the Boxwood. And yes, I know most of y'all have been there. But we like to call it home. Now, in our house, we're not scared of ghosts, so it's a little hard for me to bring the spookiness in for you. Thank you for dimming that. That was good timing. So we purchased the house 4 years ago in August, but we didn't move in until October. We had, for those who have been there, the back of the house was built in 1793 by Charles Lee. The front half of the house was built in 1860 by Mr. White. He was an attorney. So on the back half of the house, above our kitchen, we have stairs going up. When we first moved in, there was a door covering the stairs, and there was a latch. You literally had to lift the latch to open it. You had to lift the latch to close it. That door, we would hear the latch lift up, and it would swing open. We would see it swing shut, and hear the latch closing. We would leave the house and the door is shut. We would come home and it would be open. We would leave and it's open, and come home and it's shut. A few years ago, I took the door down. I got tired of it. Our first spring here, we began seeing figures in blue outside. As you know, there was a Civil War encampment around our house. You all know that the town switched hands numerous times right underneath the elm tree in our front yard. I promise it wasn't 70. But we would be sitting there minding our own business, see someone walk by wearing blue, go to the window to look, nobody there. And this has been going on the entire time we have lived there. There are days when we hear a woman singing upstairs. Back in the 1800s, the late 1800s, after the war, Dr. Lupton's domestic servant, she passed away in the house from tuberculosis. And one of the things that she enjoyed doing was singing in the church choir. So we do believe it is quite possibly her that is singing in the house, which, that's fine, it sounds lovely. But within the folklore, these are all very, very common themes. And oftentimes, houses are considered containers, especially historic houses, for all the different things that have happened.
Yeah, and the caveat off of this. When we moved in, we've been in the supernatural, paranormal, ghost investigating realm for close to 15 years. So this was like, oh, cool, yeah. I'll see a figure go by. It's like, oh, cool, hi. You know,
So when we asked if the house was haunted and they said yes, we went, oh yay.
we scared a plumber away too because he saw something and never came
Yeah,
back,
we were standing in the kitchen, and as if I'm talking to you, we both saw someone walk in, and I've gotten very good at ignoring this, especially when I'm with other people. You know, I don't want to scare anyone, and his eyes got really, really big, and I went, oh, you saw it too, huh? He goes, yes, I did. He was supposed to call us with a quote, but he never called back. Oops. The Kearns House, also known as the American Legion. Now, y'all have to understand, when we first moved here, I would ask people, okay, this town's old. Tell me your hauntings. Oh, we don't have hauntings here. No. After a couple years, it was like, okay, listen, you didn't hear it from me, but the Kearns house, built by prisoner of war Hessian soldiers in the wake of the Revolutionary War. There are reports of footsteps upstairs when no one's there. The people downstairs have actually gone upstairs just to double check and had the creepy sensation of being watched. And as soon as they went back downstairs, the footsteps would start again. Footsteps, phantom footsteps, are probably one of the most well-known folkloric haunting symptoms, so to speak. And most people, folklorists, will say that this is the result of a restless spirit, someone who isn't quite where they should be. Now, the Hessian soldiers that built it, did they go home? Did they stay? What happened? Maybe that's why they're restless.
And this is coming from first-hand accounts.
Yes.
Nobody's saying, oh, it was my sister that told me. No, these were people that have actually been in there.
And I promised I wouldn't tell anybody who said what. The governor's house, or as we like to call it, Schaefer Funeral Home. There have been reports of a woman standing on the front porch of both the funeral home and the home next door, which was a home of Miss Keller, Governor Cornwall's secretary. And she was completely devoted to him from day one, stayed in that house. Now the question is it Mrs. Cornwall? Is it Miss Keller? Or is it somebody that's attached to the funeral home that's maybe had a funeral there? Now, folklorically, we expect funeral homes to be scary. We expect them to be haunted. And people do they hear things, they see things, and sometimes they actually see full-figured apparitions. There one minute, gone the next. The old Hampshire County Jail. This was actually one of the first ones that I read about. Here's the story that I read. The jail was built in the 1700s, and in the 1800s, a gang of bandits broke in and kicked in the door and shot the bailiff. And he hit the stairs and tumbled down. To this day, you still hear his body falling down the stairs. Well, that part has been attested to be true, and I've got it. The story behind it is not true. The real story takes place in December of 1929. A man by the name of Walter Crabtree had just gotten out of jail on the charge of liquor, and he was mad. He went home and he made up a kill list of the 6 people that he felt were responsible for all his woes in life. He came into Romney and started shooting. And he did shoot the bailiff in there. He shot another man, Asa Wolford, and he also shot the Justice of the Peace. He wounded 3 others. Now, thinking that we're going to enact some country justice, he was sent over to Kaiser and then transferred out to Moundsville. Thank you. The brain just kind of went. Under the new warden's Scroggins, he was the first execution, but he was the last public execution. There were 50 reporters in attendance. They did return his body to his family. He is buried in Indian Mound Cemetery in an unmarked grave. But even when we try to forget these stories, they have a tendency to continue to rear their heads. But these ghost stories, it's what allows us to talk about tragedy. It allows us to talk about the things that scare us. It allows us to keep the past alive and connect us with one another.
One might also think that the stone also has that the tendency to hold in the energy. And, it's kind of like a replaying time. So that's that residual activity that you may get.
Is it limestone?
Possibly, yes, yeah.
I
I've heard that
believe
about
it,
limestone.
yeah, I believe it is. And if you think about it, look at all the water. Running water is another great conductor. And y'all, we are in the Appalachian Mountains. This place is old. Over 300 million years old. This was under the ocean. So there are actual petrified ocean animals in our mountains. And I'm a firm believer that whatever's been here has been here a real long time.
The day Crabtree, before he moved on his murder spree, there was a little old lady here in town, late 90s, that told us that that day she and her family were real poor and they lived out at the edge of town. And that day they didn't have any kerosene for their lamps and they didn't have any bread. And somehow Walter Crabtree found out that they needed things and he delivered those things to his house, to their house, before he came back to town and shot everybody.
Really?
Yeah.
Thank you for sharing that. That's an extra layer of
And
that
I wouldn't
story.
know
That's
that
really-
except this little old lady was sharing that
Right.
with us because she said they were really shocked when they found out what he had done because he had been very kind to her family.
Well, if you think about even some of these Wild West fellas,
Yeah.
that's what they did. So I'm actually not surprised, but I'm very touched that
Yeah.
he would have done that. That's awesome.
Also, there was on the other side of the jail there, of course the annex wasn't there then,
Right.
but there was a pillory there where you had the hands and
Mhm.
the head for punishment. It was in the front lawn there.
I wonder how many people got rotten tomatoes thrown out
I
of
don't
them.
know, I've just read that it was there, I never read anybody got pummeled with rotten vegetables or anything. Who knows, I may find it tomorrow.
Yeah, I think there's just some things that never really made it into the news, and it's just word of mouth. Like, oh no, there's no ghost stories here. Well, don't tell them what I
And
told you.
also, in the Keller house, we lived there for 15 years.
Okay.
But Margaret Keller was laid out after she died there in the parlor.
Wow.
First room on the left as you walk in the front door was the parlor, and that's where they had her casket with her body.
Well, that's why the front parlor, that's why they started calling it the funeral parlor. And then that's why we started calling it the living room, to disconnect from that association with the dead.
That's cool.
So it's
Yeah.
a little extra for you.
I much prefer living room.
No, you don't have this up there, but the school. Yeah.
The Deaf and Blind School.
Mhm.
Here's the thing, I've been told there's lots of stories of the Deaf and Blind School, but no one's come forward with anything specific as of yet, except for, again, the phantom footsteps, the shadow figures, things like that. Those are the most common haunted things. I mean, as a matter of fact, the first ghost hunter or paranormal investigator was in the employ of King James. Yes, of the Bible, King James Bible. He hired a paranormal investigator and had him as his court ghost hunter.
What a job.
Right?
Another caveat was, we owned a museum on this for 3-4 years in Gettysburg, Pennsylvania. So she did a lot of research in and that's why she wrote the book.
Because there's no ghosts in Gettysburg.
Oh, no, no.
Oh, no, not at all.
None.
Not at
No.
I've there are still some that I went, I don't know if that was a ghost or if that was a human.
Yeah, right.
It's very clear. We would get reports every week. Someone would come up and go, I was on the battlefield. I was sitting there. Someone came up in period clothing. They talked to me. I looked away. I looked back. They were gone. And everybody there wears period clothing for fun.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And we could do a whole talk on that too.
Yeah.
But actually, I think that was my last.
For the record, there were 57 children who died at the schools for the deaf and the blind.
Oh, wow.
1870 to 1927, I think,
Okay.
that died on campus. 9 of them are buried in Indian Mound
There's a,
in the plot there.
yeah, there's a stone there
Yeah.
that has
Okay.
a bunch of
I've been
names.
there.
That's awesome. I actually just saw that the other day. I was over there. and I saw
Those
that.
are the rest were sent home, but 9 were. Some of them occurred so early, and you couldn't transport a body
Yeah,
home effectively
then.
until the railroad came, and then the staff would always provide a minder to go with the body to home. But before the railroad, you had a wagon
Oh,
to
yeah.
transport a body, and that didn't work very well. But I've got.
Yeah, yeah.
Themes and takeaways. We have all, from the dawn of time, tried to understand the transition between life and death. In ancient Rome, they believed improper burial caused hauntings. As we move through time, it came to, the ghosts came back to warn the living, get your life straight, or say prayers for me. So we are still trying to figure it out. We still drink our morning magical brews. We still chant over found pennies. You're all here listening to me talk about ghost stories. Well, that was basically all the same thing. So thank you. All of my books are available on our website, traditionallegends.com. If you want to watch any of our videos, YouTube at traditionallegends.com. I do actually have a short on there where we're using a, what was the device, the big one that had the funny,
ESLS?
no, the voices.
Oh, the PSP7 box?
Yes, but it was a big thing that,
Oh, yeah, that was,
we're using a device and we get a ghost say
It's
hello.
it was an Echo, I think.
Yeah.
It was an amplification of the PSP7 box.
So anyway, we do have a short on there where we are talking to a spirit and he
Oh,
has
yeah, that
come
was
through
at,
and say hello.
that was in Augusta, wasn't it?
No, it was in the house.
Oh, in the house? Okay.
Yeah, I have a short. If you want to pull it up on the computer, I can.
I don't think we can right now. I'll have to have it.
That's fine. So if you want any of the books, they're all on our website, blogs. Some of the blogs are about Romney. Some of them deal with cryptids, like the Sasquatch that was down in Cape and Bridge, or the werewolf that was up in Fairmount, or maybe the vampires. Yeah, believe that or not, here in West Virginia, we have Sasquatch, vampires, werewolves,
Mothman.
Mothman.
The Grafton Monster.
Yeah.
He was at the bridge day.
Yeah.
Jumped off the bridge, didn't he?
But yeah, we also have a ton of case files on there too. Everything from back in the 90s doing Philadelphia. I was one of the first investigators to do Eastern State Penitentiary. So that was incredible. That's very historic. Al Capone and a number of other, but we were the first organization to investigate that. Really cool stuff. So Gettysburg, a lot of Gettysburg stories on there.
See, my great-grandparents were spiritualists. Hey, I just finished. Sorry, it's okay. I'll give you an instant replay. Okay. My great-grandparents were early spiritualists of the from the 1800s to the 1900s. I came across their notebooks. Several years ago, and I went, oh, that explains everything. Now. So that's why I have chosen to delve into dark folklore, and it's a lot more fun.
So do you guys have any questions?
Well, I just thank you, no pun intended, but thank you for keeping it alive.
You're welcome.
These are great stories. These are fantastic. Yeah.
If y'all have any more, please let me know. Yes.
Actually, I do have a story to add. I used to
Okay.
work at the Legion Hall. I was only there for like a month, but I heard a story firsthand. I'm telling it now secondhand, but I swear I heard it firsthand.
Right.
It was actually one of the first things I learned my first day working there. Like, the first thing they tell me is, oh yeah, the place is haunted, by the way. Like, okay. So what I heard, and I'm not going to name names or anything, but there is this one woman who, at the time when I was working there at least, would regularly come in with her little dog. And she was a regular there, like, long before I started working there, right?
Yeah.
And the story is that every time she came in, even while I was working there, the bartender would make up a little microwave hot dog for her dog, and the dog would snack on the hot dog while they were hanging out at the bar, right? Well, prior to when I started working there, the dog was totally fine eating the hot dog every time. But then there was one day where the dog would not eat the hot dog and was staring at like a corner somewhere and just growling the whole time.
Oh.
And ever since then, the dog has refused to eat the hot dog at the bar.
Oh my God.
Oh no.
Like ever since then, that regular has to take the hot dog to go, and then the dog like eats it in the car or something, I guess.
Oh. Animals are sensitive. They know.
So my manager told me that she was totally convinced that the dog had like seen a ghost or something, and that's why the dog no longer felt comfortable eating the hot dog. But yeah.
I would not doubt it. I mean, in a town with all this history, and I mean, my house, we know we have 4 confirmed deaths. We have Dr. Lupton. He was actually seen to a patient, reached up to get some medicine, and died of a heart attack. His daughter died in the house when she was young. The servant, she died of tuberculosis. Mr. Blue, JD Blue, died on the front porch from a heart attack. And I will, honestly, I do see people walking around on the front porch, and sometimes I will hear someone, and then when I go to look out the window, where'd they go?
They have a tombstone. I belong to that Legion at a meeting. I'm like, I guess it's a marker. Is it a marker? Like the military markers, the metal ones. And I look in the corner. I'm like, hey man, that's like a tombstone. They're like, yeah, it's been here as long as we know. I said, I imagine the family wants that.
Well, I did the research. So they had 4 of them back against the garage or that outbuilding.
I only seen the one. Go
Well,
ahead.
there's 4 back. There were 4 back there, and they contacted me to find out what. And what it was is those were stones that were purchased by mistake, and there's already stones in the cemeteries identical to those.
The
So
one I
they're
saw,
duplicates is
they
what they were.
contacted the family and they wanted them, and they went to Schaefer's to pick it up.
And I went over to Schaefer's, but I found one was out in Augusta, so it was weird that they were extras.
When we had
Speak.
When we had the museum in Gettysburg, we had a couple come in and said, yeah, we have a tombstone in our car that we'd like to drop off to you and donate to you. And we're like, oh, okay. So they bring in this huge cement tombstone, and we lean it up against the wall, and we're like, well, we're going to figure out who did it. Here to find out, they did, and my cousin did the research, found him. He was from Ohio.
Called the cemetery.
And they came and got it. Supposedly it was taken, it fell on the ground, it was taken. But it's like, okay, yeah.
All right.
Yeah, right?
We have a long and varied haunted history.
I'm surprised there's not more up at the, like, apparitions or whatever, up at the fire company lot for the Ridgewood
They moved
Cemetery.
the headstones.
I mean, I've identified over 100, and I think right now about 101 people that were buried in that lot. And it laid unattended from 1860 when Indian Mound opened until the 1940s, with article after article after article in the reviews. They cleaned this place up because no one took care of the stones, no one took care of the cemetery. And they finally came with a dozer and just plowed it under. Now, there's 14 stones at the cemetery, but there's no transfer. And after 80 years in the ground, it's not gonna be anything to move. But they took those remains, the dirt,
Yeah,
and dumped it down at the corner of Grafton and Sioux Lane, where there was a big hole. I grew up there. There was a big hole there with a ditch, and that's where they dumped
Oh my God.
all the remains of it. And of course, we were told not to play in that hole, but that's where we always play. But they poured it in there, and then they built a house on top of it.
Oh, they built a house.
Oh yeah, it's there on the corner right there. It's
So-
Sioux and Grafton.
So I did a case in Philadelphia, and we came in and did the preliminary questionnaire to the client and everything like that, because they were having a lot of hauntings going on. We're talking like literally like scratches, pushes, all that. And we come in and we're like, so have you had any issues with like plumbing or electrical work or anything? They're like, yeah, we did a renovation of the kitchen and we found a skeleton, a couple skeletons. But I was like, I hope you turned it into the police. No, we just threw them away.
Wow.
Yeah. So I'm waiting for that. To them doing a remodel, and it's like,
the mayor
oh,
of
look.
Romney lived there for 20 years. Yeah, Mr. Hicks lived in that house.
wow. See, I'm waiting
Years
to
and
find something like that in our house because Dr. Lupton was an Oddfellow. And it was common for the Oddfellows to have a skull or something in the wall or their, so I'm waiting. And our
Yeah.
fireplaces are all closed off and we just don't know what's going to happen.
Just be careful about opening those Pandora's boxes.
Yeah. We've opened one fireplace because it was easy, so it was all good. It was all good. But from what we understand, there were signatures on the wall of all the soldiers that had been in our house. But if you've been in our house, you know darn good and well that somebody wallpapered over everything. So that's all gone.
It's still there.
Well,
You volunteering, Sherry?
No. No, Mom and Dad's house had 7 layers of wallpaper in the
Oh,
upstairs
Lord.
bedroom.
Woo.
And they were gorgeous. I mean, some of them were really well preserved when they started stripping them off.
Right.
Oh my gosh. But
Somebody told me, it might have been you, because I talked to anybody and everybody.
I'm the same.
One of the basements is walled with tombstone pieces.
Where's that?
Well, I don't know.
Oh, I've never- I have not heard that.
But I thought it was by the fuck, and I also heard if I say it wrong, forgive me, Pisgah Methodist Church?
It's good.
Mount Pisgah, that's their cemetery, right? With the wooden.
Yeah, down over the hill.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
And I heard it actually extends to 50.
it did at one time.
They would especially
This place
exhume the
60.
bodies and move them.
By the way, in 1934, when they put the road straight through, as opposed to going down and out and around, they had to move 6 stones from Route 50, the current Route 50, back over into the cemetery.
All right.
Any
Any other
questions?
questions?
Very cool.
Really quick, I do want to, because I'm looking at this ghost here. Do you know why we use sheets for ghosts? Burial shrouds.
That makes sense. That makes a lot of sense.
That's why they would be in the sheets. Give me a pretty floral one, I'll be happy.
Like the sheet of Turin.
Yes. Anything? Questions, comments?
Here's the order of the cemetery.
Oh, let's talk about cemetery. Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you.